You ever have one of those dreams, the kind that feels too real to be a dream? You can smell the rain, hear the ticking of a clock in a room you've never seen before, and yet you know you've been there. Maybe in another life or another layer of your mind. In that strange space between sleep and wakefulness, where the rules of reality dissolve, something ancient stirs. A whisper, a knowing, a warning. They call it lucid dreaming, the art of waking up inside your dreams. But what if it's not just an art? What if it's a door? Some say we're tapping into our subconscious. Others claim it's intuition, reaching across timelines, connecting to people, places, or events that haven't happened yet, but will. The mystics call it insight. The hermetics called it gnosis. Modern science, well, they're still trying to measure what can't be measured. But what if dreams are more than fleeting chemical misfires? What if they're messages? Messages from another realm.
Raise your glass to mysteries, cocktails and conspiracies. Dive into these histories, cocktails and conspiracies. Raise your glass to mysteries, cocktails and conspiracies. Uncover those anomalies, cocktails and conspiracies.
Tired of dragging around that clunky old grill to every tailgate or campsite? Hitchfire has your back. Literally. Their rugged hitch-mounted grills are built for adventure. Just swing it out, fire it up, and get cooking anywhere your vehicle takes you. And I've got a code to hook you up. Use Shane-Game-Day-15 at checkout for 15% off your entire order. Head to hitchfire.com and upgrade your outdoor game. You can also use the QR code on your screen now. Hitchfire, built to burn wherever you roam. Good morning, good evening, wherever you may be, whether you are tuning in across the nation or around the world. My name is Shane Skwarek, resurrecting here with the man of mischief, Mr. Philipps. And we are excited, thrilled, and ecstatic to cheers you and welcoming back the woman behind the scenes, Vicky Sous, back to Cocktails and Conspiracies. Vicky V, what's happening?
Hi there.
You cannot jump off this episode saying hi there after I just came in screaming
fuck!
and
I don't
dying.
know what to say.
So
I don't know. Can you hear my air?
You got-
excited.
I'm
No, we
excited.
can't
I'm
hear
just
your air,
nervous.
but we need to hear some air come out of your mouth a little bit.
Oh,
Hello, what's up?
God.
What's happening? Vicky's a
I'm
bubble
not a
of
showman
energy.
like
We'll
you.
talk every day.
Okay, hi there,
I'm not a showman
everyone.
either.
How are you? Chef
There
Kick.
you go. You can do it, Vicky.
That's
Damn.
it. That's it. Now, it's been a while since we've had you on the program, Mr. Phillips. I think that was maybe our second or third episode.
It was
Vicky
in the
came on.
very beginning when we were scrounging for people to talk to us, and we said, "Who can we annoy?" Vicky.
So for those that missed that episode, it was actually the disappearance of Gonzalo Zing, which is a relative of
In
Vicky's,
fact,
your uncle or something, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Like my
yeah.
uncle,
And
like
that was in the Bermuda
my-
Triangle. Really, really good Bermuda
Yeah.
Triangle episode.
He and his wife got lost in the Bermuda Triangle along with his airplane and everything, the crew, and never came back. Never came back.
Never came back. And so in that episode, again, it was one of our very early ones. So you might have to scroll to the bottom of YouTube there. We kind of dive into some of the mysteries of the Bermuda Triangle a little bit there, and just some other things that might have happened that are maybe a little bit more politically motivated there. But for those that missed that episode and have no context as to who you are, just to give some of that background, when the Conspiracy Realist Project began, it really began because Tim and I were just BSing, playing Xbox like we did most nights at that particular time, saying, hey, let's just record ourselves talking about this. But the idea really stemmed because we were talking about not having a singular place to go and just like look into conspiracies. And so Victoria happened to be working for my day job, and I don't know if she liked conspiracies or not at the time. I think I just said, Vicky, this is what you're going to
I
be
love
doing. You're going to
conspiracies.
be
I always
researching
love
and
them.
posting conspiracies. Well, you have no choice now because it became part of your job. So
Yeah.
she's been the brains behind a lot of that, building those things out, populating the website out, creating all the social content. So you're you've got a pulse on everything that happens here.
Well, I hope so. I certainly hope so. But anyway, I love it. I
You and
love
me both.
conspiracies. What?
I said
Hello?
you and me both.
I can understand you, but okay. But yeah,
All right, most people can't do.
That's fine. That's fine. Um, so our topic tonight is vivid dreaming. It's intuition, lucid dreaming, I guess, and we broadly touched on this once before in an episode with Todd and Amanda Feehan, and I thought it was worthwhile bringing it back. For one, because we were looking at new topics that we wanted to bring up, and for two, well, Vicky said that she's really interested in this kind of stuff. So, to you, Vicky, to kick things off, when did you first realize that your dreams were something more than just dreams?
well, the thing is that it happens to me. It has always happened to me, but I usually brush it off because, I'm usually a non-believer. I tend to discredit everything, like to find an answer or something. And if it doesn't have an answer, then I brush it off. Like, you know, it's not like that. I'm overthinking. And it happened to me like less than a month ago that I dreamed of. I went to a Catholic school my whole life, like 15 years I spent there. And there was a nun that was like my second mother. And one of these days, that woman lives in Spain or lived in Spain since I was like 15 years, maybe. And one of these past days, I had a dream that she came and told me, like, "Hey, I'm dying, and I'm sorry. I came to say goodbye." And that was it. And I woke up like, as the overthinker I am, looking for an obituary or something on the internet, like what happened with this woman. Well, I didn't find anything online, and I brushed it off like I usually do. And I received a message on the phone from another nun saying, "Hey, Carmen died." And I was like, "What?" Like the very next day. This
Wow.
was the night, Monday night, and this was Tuesday during the day. And I was like, I freaked out. I freaked out like you have no idea. And I was like thinking back, I've always have had some sort of interest in Hermetism. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it okay, but you get the point. And I
Like
thought like,
premonitions.
yeah, maybe the dreams are the connection between this plane and another plane, another realm. I don't know, but it has been dancing in my head like that idea because what are the possibilities of me dreaming about that woman and the very next day knowing she was dead? Like, yeah, she died last night. I was like, I couldn't believe
Wow.
so. So yeah, I stopped and think like, hey, what is happening? I've always dreamed like, I don't know if it happens to you. I thought it was normal, like you're in a dream doing something wild. I don't know, jumping or maybe under the sea, and you know it's a dream, and you can breathe like under the water, or you can fly, or you can jump like parkour. But yeah,
I
it's
mean,
like
that is
I can do
effectively
it.
the definition of what that is what lucid dreaming is. It's the recognition that you're in the dream.
And I
For it
thought
to
it
be
was normal
normal,
and everybody could do it.
well, that's what I was going to actually point at Tim is like, Tim, you do not lucid dream.
I don't. I don't lucid dream. I don't have any fun dreams really. It's very rare that I even remember my dreams. Sometimes there'll be like dogs barking in my dream. I'm kidding. Um, I'm not, I don't know. I wish that I did some cool shit in my dreams. I get shot in my dreams a lot. That's not fun. And then I wake up and I'm like, oh fuck, you're still alive. All right, good. But other than that, I don't dream often.
Yeah, yeah. It's for me, it's periodic, and it got to the point where like I don't want to say control it a little bit. And Vicky, I'm just going to throw you on mute when you're not speaking because I do hear something kind of barking in the background there. Not a big deal. I just got you mute in the interim, but I've learned to sort of harness it a little bit where like I can recite certain things in my mind or put myself in a state of relaxation and like focus on something and sort of enter that dream state where like I'm pretty confident that I'm lucid dreaming at that point and I can kind of control the outcomes of there. However, I've thought of it to be other things beyond that, and I think we'll get into that a little bit more in just a minute. What I would ask though, Vicky, to you is have you always trusted your intuition coming out of these dreams, or is this experience that just happened last month, is that sort of the first time that you've dreamt something and felt it come true right afterwards?
For sure, I never killed anyone before in my dreams. Like, I didn't. My dreams were pretty much funny, and I usually dreamed of going to the same places before that. After that,
Hmm.
I think it's a different approach, and because I'm like more conscious and more serious, I see it like some sort of mission, maybe, and I go to the same place in different dreams. That's something kind of shocking because I know the place and I know it's a dream, but I go to that place and I know where how is the place and I know where to go, and it's kind of weird at some point because you don't know if maybe you are living in a parallel reality, you know?
Hmm.
And I'm not stoned. I
Hmm.
swear to God. And I've never
Well, see,
known.
here's the thing. I I do get stoned every night of my life, and I have no fucking dreams. So, I mean, maybe if I want to have some cool dreams, I shouldn't smoke.
No, precisely.
Uh,
This
Now, Vicky,
this
I
has
got.
happened when I'm like sober. I'm gonna kill that dog.
I was just
When
gonna
I'm
ask, what's going on
sober,
with that dog? Do you need to
I
let the
don't
dog
know.
inside, or
I don't even know where that dog is. I don't know that dog. I don't know who he is. But
it's
yeah,
not your dog?
no, my dog's a Chihuahua. I mean, like,
Wait a minute. So there's just
Oh,
some
Jesus.
random dog barking outside of
yeah,
your window?
yeah. I don't know what is happening. Jumanji. I don't know what's
Can you go
happening.
chase it off with a stick or something, or a flashlight? Hit it with a
I
flashlight a couple
don't know.
times, scare it
It
away.
sounds like a big dog, right? Like a lab or something. No, I'm not into it. No.
Maybe not that big. Yeah, not
Maybe
too
it's a
bad.
chupacabra.
It could be a
No.
chupacabra. That's another great episode.
Like,
Um,
hey, I come because you were talking about dreams coming out of
There
the
you go.
window.
well, oh, that's it. That's it. So what you mentioned about going to a parallel universe, that's a complete 180 from the direction I thought we were going to go with this, but it's a 180 that I really like because that is kind of an idea that I subscribe to quite a bit, and that I've probably chewed Tim's ear off quite a bit about as well. It's come up as a recurring issue or a recurring topic, really, on this podcast, on this show. Is I think I subscribe to the same thing. It's like I was mentioning just a few minutes ago that I can sort of control myself lapsing into these lucid dreams and understand where I am. What I didn't mention, but I have mentioned in previous episodes, is that when that happens to me, um, dog barking aside here, I'm going to throw you a mute real quick again for that. When that happens to me, a lot of the times I'll dream in succession to the previous dreams. So like I'll text Tim, and we have another friend, Hodson. We have a little group chat that happens all the time, and I'll literally tell them sometimes like I'll wake up that day and I'll have continued a dream that I've had hundreds of other times, and like it's not the same thing happening over and over, but it's like a continuation of that dream, almost as if it's like living another life. And there have been moments when that's happened where I've woken up and like actually not realized which life I'm living, if that makes sense, because it's so vivid and it's so real. And even though I'm aware to some context that it is a dream while I'm in it, it still feels so real. And it's like I can recall a history from that. What that means, I don't know. I don't smoke pot at all. So, we're
Well,
really
it ain't that, buddy.
spanning the scales here across here. I don't think it's any sort of outside narcotic that's influencing me there, but it happens very frequently, and it is something that to a degree I can control. And I even got an app that might be on my phone. I'd have to dig it up. It was from a university. I want to say Harvard. It could have been another Ivy League where they were studying lucid dreaming. And part of it was like it would repeat a certain phrase and you'd listen to it softly with like nighttime type music, and when you fall asleep it's repeating the phrase, and so like it would echo through your dream that phrase, and that's what alerted you when you'd hear the phrase, because dreams obviously happen within a small period of time, right? It's not like you're dreaming the whole portion of the night, but they feel really long. So when you'd hear the phrase, that would be like the wake up cue within the dream to say like, okay, it's like the movie Leonardo DiCaprio, Tim,
Inception.
Inception.
Yeah.
Inception.
It's like the movie Inception, where they always had something, right, that they grab onto, and that was why I guess I can't show it to people, but it's something you'd have. It was your secret thing that would
Right.
ground you to know you if you were in reality, if it worked. That's what this app was doing. It was saying a specific phrase over and over again on a cadence, and then when you'd hear it in your dream, that's what you'd grab onto, know it, and then you'd be able to take control of your dream, which was
Did you
really
try
supposed
it?
to be the definition of it. Oh yeah, I
Like a
used that
safe
multiple
word.
times. Yeah.
Did it work?
It's like your
It's a
safe word,
phrase or
and you
something.
come
Yeah,
back to
it was
reality.
it was kind of like a safe word. Well, you weren't
Shady
coming out
safe
of the
word is
dream.
banana.
Bananas. So like you'd come out like within the dream, you'd hear it, and like you'd realize that like you're dreaming. So then the whole point of lucid dreaming is you can take control of the dream and manipulate it. And so that's
Right.
really what was coming from that.
So, but you were able to lucid dream even before you were using this, right?
100%. Yeah, I
And now
before and
you've since
after.
incorporated it.
100%. Yeah, it's
Do you
it
notice
for,
any difference using it, or is it just kind of
I only did it briefly. Um yeah, it was like maybe 2 or 3 times I did it because it wasn't 100% hit rate when I would utilize that. But I
yeah?
did get it like 2 or 3 times that it actually did work. And so for me, what I always noticed, and I'm going to flip this to you in a second here, Vicky, but what I always noticed is that when I would lucid dream, or I always call it vivid dreaming too, which I know is the incorrect term, but for me, it wasn't so much the consciousness of like knowing that I'm dreaming, in so much as it was like it didn't break the parameters of real life. Now, there's certain things that did, like there's certain dream lives that I have where like my parents are still alive, or like one of which like my father was like resurrected, like came back from the dead and like continued, and we knew he was dead at one point, which continued living his life. So outside of like those realms of fantasy, everything else was very much in line with life. Like people were living real lives, and it wasn't like a long. I'm sorry, it wasn't like a movie slapped into a dream. It was like I'd live a day in that dream.
Yeah.
So what would happen with me is that like it would be exhausting. Like I'd wake up completely overwhelmed and like tired because I really didn't sleep, because I felt like I was like in the middle of a dream, or I'm sorry, living another day. And
Right.
so like there came a point where like I just didn't want to do it because I would just be like overwhelmed, and like when I wake up the next day it was just like shot. So I'll flip that question back to you there, Vicky. Is when you had these types of dreams, did you ever get the sense of being overwhelmed or exhausted, or did you kind of wake up and the next morning was business?
Like tired, maybe a little bit tired. Like
Hmm.
there's an specific one, a specific dream. I've had it like my whole life. It's like being in a balcony, and you have this
Hmm.
kind of view to the sea or to a beach, maybe. And somehow recently, I dreamed of taking Matilda, my youngest, taking
Hmm.
her there, and we had to walk like, I don't know. I thought about it in kilometers because, of course. And I told her like we have to walk 3 kilometers. I didn't walk it in the dream, but I woke up somehow tired, and my knees were. Uh, I'm fat, and it was like I walked that. I did that walk. So yeah, kind of overwhelmed me. Like I didn't walk. It was a dream. I
It's
know it
fascinating.
was a dream,
Right.
but yeah, my knees
Right.
hurt, and yeah, I was pretty much pretty aware that I was dreaming, and I know for a fact I didn't walk it because I was in my bed. But yeah, and
Yep.
there's when I thought or thought again that maybe I go to a parallel universe, a multiverse, like Doctor Strange. They he they can travel and hold the time. I don't know. Do I make any sense? I'm not stoned.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of this podcast, Vicky, is that we don't have to make sense.
Oh,
There is a segment of people out there that you do make sense to. Tim does not watch any superhero movies, so the idea of saying Doctor
I
Strange
watch
probably went
Batman,
over his
dude.
head.
oh, come on,
Okay,
Tim.
Batman.
Yeah, not for me.
Yeah.
He's into
What do you
conspiracies.
mean?
He's not into comics.
Uh,
But
I'm a
I will.
documentary kind of guy. I'm boring.
Tim, do you dream at all? I know it's a kind of a weird question to ask.
I
but
do.
like,
I do.
okay,
Not often. Not often. And look, I know what a scientists say. Like everybody dreams, you just don't remember them, right? So I don't
right,
remember my dreams very often. When I do, I do have recurring dreams. A lot of them are not necessarily good.
okay,
Like I'm having dental work, or I have been shot, or I have buried a body 20 years ago, and like they're gonna find out.
uh-huh.
People.
I've
I
had a
know
dream
this
like
is
that.
like well, but I
what?
have these all the fucking time. Like I have major problems. So like yeah, like we're gonna put this out on the internet. Like yeah, it's really great that I just said that.
In
So I
Tim's
have
past life, he
recurring
was a real
dreams.
fuck up.
Yeah.
Things don't change, huh? So, I have reoccurring dreams, and I think I've spoken about this on the show before. I had a dream about this beach house, and years later I saw that beach house, and I know for certain it was that beach house. And I can't explain that at all whatsoever, and I couldn't even, in the dream, there was nothing special or even super specific about the house, but
Right,
I'm telling you, I saw that house, it's on Long Beach Island.
that's crazy. Can
Yeah.
you like identify that same house today? Like, is it that?
I can go find it. I know
Like,
exactly
if
where
like
it is,
if
100%.
you came across the house, you'd know it immediately.
It's in Brant Beach. I know exactly where it is, 100%.
And you've never actually
Um,
been there. Like, you never like Airbnb'd it or like
I just
partied
drove
there
by
or
it.
something.
I literally no, dude. I just drove by it. And what
That's
I need
so
to tell you, like,
crazy.
I had this dream when I was a child,
Yeah.
before I had ever stepped foot on LBI. There was no correlation between the two at all whatsoever. But I was driving past it one day, going to the beach, and I looked at it. and I went, "Holy fucking shit! That's the house. Like,
Yeah.
that's the house from my dream."
That's wild.
I don't have any other context. Like, sorry, I don't. I
Yeah.
can't really elaborate on it much to our listeners. But that is weird. I don't know how to explain it. Look, maybe it was just a house that looked similar and it sparked that deep-seated memory in my
Right.
brain. More than likely, that's probably what it was. But it's still kind of cool nonetheless.
Be
It's
curious to
awesome.
see if like we could rent that one day and like walk inside of it and
Right?
see if that like awakens something. Like
That would
maybe
be cool. Let's just
changes.
go knock on the door.
Right. Hey,
Dude,
can
I'll
I
go
go?
there in the winter. There's nobody there in the winter. Let's
Walk
fucking
in.
go in. What do I give a shit?
We're certainly not alone in wondering about dreams, and by we I mean our culture, our current society. I think it's been kind of out there throughout history. Tibetan monks, for example, had a practice they developed called dream yoga. So they would use their lucid dreams as a form of like spiritual training. They believed that your dreams can help you confront your fears, dissolve your egos, and kind of prepare for that transition between life and death. Be comfortable with dying. And you've heard derivatives of that. I shouldn't assume here. I've heard derivatives of that. I'm sure you all have as well. That when people try to analyze your dreams, they'll say, those death scenes are you sort of turning over a new leaf or getting hit by a car or shot or things like that. There's always like some sort of meaning behind it.
Yeah.
There's also on the flip side of it, what you were alluding to a little bit before, Vicky, was in Hermetic philosophy, dreams are thought to be portals. So bridges to these higher planes of consciousness where divine knowledge exists or hidden truths can be accessed. Kind of like this cosmic phone line to the universe, and that's sometimes where you'll hear people will say, like, I've learned things through my dreams, or like I've dreamt and I solved a problem that I couldn't think of because like you unlocked it while you were sleeping. That is one thing in my experiences too that has proven true. Very early on when my father had passed was really the first experience I had in really deep dreaming, and I would communicate with him very often in those dreams. And at the time I'm just sort of chalking it up as like a way to process grief because particularly
Right.
at that time like that is not something I processed. I I mean, I actually told the story this past weekend when I was on a retreat. Is the day I put my father in the ground, I went right to college. I took my final exam for my last class. Like 2 hours later, the next day I was going to train to New York City to interview for a job that I had to delay because of his passing for the interview. So it's like, that was my process, is continue forward. So I always just assumed like that was my way to do it. But I came to find that I'd have conversations and talk to him, if you will, about things that we never talked about in real life. And like he would tell me things that I didn't know. I couldn't tell you what those things were today, but I remember at the time, like I would learn things, if you will, whether it's advice, whether it was ways to do things, whether it was where it was to find something in the house, and I would find that through dreaming. Now, subconsciously, could I have been unlocking something that maybe I saw out of the corner of my eye or I overheard and it was just a slight memory? Absolutely. I don't know
Right.
though.
Hmm.
I don't know that I've been able to replicate that too much. Like after my mother passed, I didn't really find something new necessarily, because at this point I know it all. But at that particular time with my father, I think it was a lot more apparent to me. So that hermetic philosophy resonates really well with me, and it sounds like, Vicky, that's kind of the experience you had, was almost prophetic, right? Like when you see this nun and then the very next day she dies, and you kind of just get that, like, that feeling, like Final Destination esque. Which I know you saw that movie, Phillips.
Of course.
Well, one of them. There's like 27 of them. I saw the one where the hot chick dies in the tanning bed, and then the fucking logs come off the thing, and that's all I remember.
Yeah. Wow. Brand new one just came out
I
too. We
saw
got to check
someone
that one out.
happen that I saw that happening to someone, like not in real life, but yeah. So we don't know if
Wait, you
that
saw what
person
happening to somebody?
dreamed of. Yeah, but we don't know if that person dreamed of being final destined or whatever.
Final
I don't know.
Destin. That's a good one. We'll jot that one down. Um, what is
You
your
know,
gut feeling? Oh, go ahead, Tim.
no, I was just gonna say, just kind of bringing it back to what Vicky had opened with about having the dream about, the nun that you were very close with. Like, and I'm one, and half hour into this episode, we've alluded to the fact that I've never had an experience with this. I don't, I don't want to use the term buy-in because I don't want to discount other people's experiences, but I have a tough time personally buying in because I
Yeah.
have no proof, right? It's never happened to me. But how do you explain a premonition like that, right? Like, I just, like Vicky, before
No,
you
you
had that
don't.
dream, were you thinking about that person? Did you think about that person at all? Were you maybe talking about that person with somebody else prior that would have made you have that dream, or was it just totally completely out of the blue?
I hadn't at that moment. I hadn't talked to her for like 4 or 5 years because she was like 90 something years old, so she was incommunicated pretty much all the time.
Right.
So I haven't talked to her at the time for about 4 or 5 years. So yeah, I dreamed of her, and I woke up like wanting to reach her or something, reach her out or something, because it felt strange. And I get it. I it happened to me, and I did brush it off. I'm like, it's not possible. It's might be like how do you say it, like a coincidence, but what are the odds at the same time?
Sure.
So yeah, I booked an
Right.
appointment with my shrink after that. So she
Well,
said
that's a
like it
good
was
idea.
normal. She said it was normal, it could happen, or
But
I don't know.
before that, and of course, yeah.
I lost
Look,
you.
it's even if it's not normal, not normal's fun, right? That's the way I view it. But
Oh, I'm reconnecting.
before you had that dream, were you thinking of her?
No, not at all.
Did you have any thoughts of her prior to that dream, or did you have a
No, for like
conversation with
about
somebody about her that might have,
for years.
you know,
Years had passed.
and that's the weird part. Like, how do you explain that? How do you explain that? You can't. It's so weird.
How do you explain that premonition? How do you explain how that actually
I I
happens
don't.
when you didn't? You don't.
I
Right,
felt like
exactly.
it could be like something like Avatar, the movies, like they connect you at night, and then you go to another world, and then they reconnect you during the day or something like that. I don't know. I'm I have no words.
No,
I
I
think
think
it's,
that's a really good analogy, though.
yeah, I thought so. I don't know. It might be.
Just that's I think the part for me that's been the hardest to kind of circle back into, right? So how does something like this happen? And then I liken it back to like intuition.
Yeah.
We've all had intuition. We all know what
Hmm.
intuition is. And I think with that, it's like, to me, it's the same basic thing is how do you sometimes feel something and then it just comes to fruition, or you feel like somebody's looking at you and all of a sudden they are, those types of things just, it feels strange to me.
It's almost like it's things like that that make me believe in some kind of energy that is out there that we don't have an understanding of, but it has to exist because how else do you explain it, right? And I know that
Right.
kind of sounds silly. It's almost like I'm looking for some kind of supernatural thing to place the I don't want to say blame, but to blame it on, if you will, because
Yeah.
I don't understand it. And
Yeah.
that sounds very like rudimentary, right? Like when we hung the witches in Salem, right? Like you know what I mean? Like that sounds so dumb, but I do
Yeah.
kind of truly believe that. Like I really do believe there's some kind of force, some kind of energy that's out there that most of us just can't see all the time. We can't hear it, we can't feel it. It's there, it's operating, and it's connecting these things. I have no proof of it, but it's the way I kind of feel.
I think that's a pretty valid point. And what do they always say too, right? Like magic is just technology we don't understand. And
Right.
as if you were to take anything of our technology today and bring it back in the past. And I think that holds true even with this, even with dream state is just because we can't understand it now sort of opens up the Pandora's box, if you will, of what the actual explanation is that we may get later on down the line. I don't want to dive down this rabbit hole too much because it's a completely different topic. We've touched on it before and we'll probably touch on it again here. So I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't want to dive too much into this, but like remote viewing, right? It's
Yeah.
another one that I've had personal experiences with. I know, pretty sure you haven't, Mr. Phillips, right? Vicky, do you even know what that is if I say remote viewing, or is
I
that
don't
still?
know.
Well, you've
Remote
probably covered it
viewing?
on the website.
No.
So remote viewing is effectively like being a psychic, right? So like you go in sort of a meditative state and then you can picture something else in a different place. And the examples that I've given in the past is that like I remember like back in high school days, like when you'd have to actually use a landline phone to talk to somebody on the phone, I'd always do that in my bedroom, laying in my bed, and I would just kind of just like close my eyes and just to talk. And twice it happened to me where I found myself in the person whom I was talking to's room, and I can see them and I can see their room. And one of the instances, and one of them I've never been to their house, and I actually described what their desk looked like. And I described like this particular person, she had pictures of people under her desk with like a plexiglass top to it. And I was describing what the pictures were and where they were. Never been in the house my entire life. The other one, it was like a very similar situation where I told a person what they were wearing, where they were sitting. Like I moved myself there. I did it in high school once too. My teacher was trying to do something. It was actually a web design class, but she was like really into like crazy shit. And she wanted to see that if the room focused on one thing, if people in the hallway could catch it. I walked in the class and I told her exactly what it was. And it was I forgot what the description was, but I basically said, it was like a pony's tail. It was like very like brownish in color. And I described a penny, which what they were looking at. That's what it was. I did it in a Spanish class where like our Spanish teacher asked us to pick a number, like I don't know, there's maybe 20 kids in the class, pick a number 1 to 100. And I picked the number. I was the very first person. I picked the number first, like nailed it. Um, Whatever it was, like it started, and I just like, it wasn't that I picked it. Like would pick the number anyway, but I saw the number, like I
Of
could
course.
visualize the number. So like that's remote viewing, right? It's like this visualization, and it's a CIA program that actually happened as well, where they were actually using remote viewers to try to tap into enemy bases and stuff to a lot of success, published success. So right, so I didn't want to go down that rabbit hole too much. That's a whole other episode on itself. But I tie that back into the ability to lucid dream, vivid dream, whatever you want to call it, and the idea of intuition is that like to what you were just saying, Mr. Phillips, there's these energies in the world. And in order for any of those things to really happen, in my mind, you have to be able to kind of grab that energy and harness it or manipulate it, or I guess even travel along it to see that. Were my remote viewing sessions happenstance and good guessing? Possibly, probably. In the 90s, it wasn't unusual for most people to have a desk with 100 pictures in it. And if you took a couple pictures, the people they hang out with, I could have probably surmised a lot of that on my own and used guessing and checking. With, the picking the numbers, it's only 100 numbers. So there was a 1 out of 100 shot, 22 kids in the class, give or take. It was a pretty good odd that I would hit that first person off. Like there's answers for all of that stuff. And the same thing goes with dreaming. It's like you can pick up artifacts from your daily life and maybe just latch onto it. At some level, you got to ask yourself, what is coincidence and what is not? And it's hard for me sometimes to buy into too many coincidences. So I always kind of walk that weird line. If it were something that were explicit or exclusive to our generation, or by that I mean like the generations before and after, fine. But the fact that dreams have been so integral to generations across the spectrum, to me, raises that eyebrow. And we always talk about things like the Göbekli Tepes and all these like ancient civilizations. What's our other favorite one, Mr. Phillips? Gosh.
We have a lot. I mean, ancient Egypt is the big one for me.
Yeah. I was trying to think of one of those other ancient civilizations. But you look at a lot of those, and you look at some like the superstitions they had and some of the rituals that they had, and you ask why. Like, dreaming was such an integral part to their religions and their cultures, to the point where like ayahuasca today is a derivative of, like, I don't know if it's the Mayans or the Aztecs, like ceremonies that they were actually holding where people are trying to kind of tap into that subconsciousness. So it leads me to believe that there might be something more to this than mainstream science, modern science would really give credit to.
Yeah. I think you have to be open to it as well, right? Like, I'm not a person, and I sit here and complain that I've never had any of these experiences, but I'm one that's never thought about it a lot either. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not necessarily that I'm closed to it or that I even don't believe it. Like, I'm not sitting here saying that it's bullshit, but I'm not open to the point where I'm inviting it into my life. I'm just fucking busy. Like, that's the last thing I'm thinking about before I go to bed. Plus, I'm usually fucking stoned, right? So, I mean, who knows what I'm thinking about? I'm usually, just doing the fucking crab walk to bed.
I'm
Trying to
surprised
hold on
that
to the walls
wouldn't
there.
almost like unlock your mind a bit more though, because like you're sort of
Yeah.
washing everything out and like kind of inviting it in.
So, and again, and I've talked about this on the show before, I do believe you could have a spiritual experience while even just doing something as innocuous as smoking marijuana. And so I do believe that you can, but again, I think you have to be open to it, right? Like, the very few times that I have had those experiences, I have been very open to it.
Yeah.
More oftentimes than not, I'm not open to it because it's draining. Like, it takes a lot of energy.
Yeah.
And that might sound stupid, especially if you go back and listen to some of the previous episodes where I've talked about that, because I don't even know if it's actually real. It might be just my mind, and it might be a placebo effect, but then at the same point in time, who gives a shit, because it was real to me, right? So whether it's actually happening or it isn't, it's real to me, so what do I give a fuck? But
That's
having
what we
said
say about
that,
pro wrestling too. It's still real to
there you go.
me.
There you go. Um, you know, so I think you got to be open to it, and a lot of times I'm not, because it's just I just want to go to bed. I just want to go to sleep.
But once again, I mean, at the same time, I think I wasn't looking to have that dream or to connect with the woman that the deceased one, the nun. And I'm usually not looking to connect with anything. I want to sleep. I'm tired. I have 2 kids. I want to just
Right.
turn off everything, turn off the girls, turn off myself, and like go to sleep. And then
Turn
you,
off that dog outside.
yeah, yes, especially that. And then
But
you're in
but
in a
you've had that wasn't your first experience,
no,
right?
no, and I kind of
Right.
like
So
it
that
and
wasn't
not
your first
like
time.
it.
So you've already opened yourself up to
It
it.
what?
Right.
No, I mean I usually brush it off. I don't. It's like I don't want to believe. Instead of I want to believe. No, I don't want to believe. Leave me alone. I don't want to. I'm an overthinker. I have I have enough happening in my mind and with my shrink and everything to add like another adventure when I'm asleep. No way. I don't. Leave me alone. Like, yeah, I don't know. I'm not like,
I get it. I look. I totally get it.
I don't know if I make sense again. But yeah, I'm not like
But
looking
here's
to,
my thing though, Vicky. Right. But here's my thing. Before you had this most recent experience, right? You have had other prior
yeah,
experiences, haven't you?
yeah, since I was a kid.
Right. So therefore, so exactly. So you've had these experiences for a long time. So while you may not necessarily be going to sleep that night saying, "Hey, I'm open to this," in your mind, in your body, in your soul, you've already experienced it, right? So you're already kind of in tune with it, if you will, even if you're
Hmm.
not consciously thinking about it all the time. Whereas somebody like myself, I've never had an experience like that, and therefore I'm not saying that I'm closed to it, but I've never had one, and I'm not necessarily looking to have one. Therefore, I don't feel as if though I am as open to it as somebody like you or Shane would be. Even though you may not be looking to have one tonight, but because you've already had those experiences, you're in tune with whatever it is that's enabling you to have those
I get
experiences. You
it.
know what I mean?
Like you're more prone to have those experiences. And now my daughter has
Right.
has
Right.
had them
Exactly.
too. So now I have my own stuff happening, and then comes Matilda, like, Mama, I dreamed this and this and that, and I'm like, no, 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 you didn't, you did not. Go to sleep again. It's like enough. I don't. I wish I could control it. In fact, when I've gone to sleep like very stoned, very high, high as a kite, I usually have a better rest. That's a fact.
I agree.
That's a fact.
Well, I
Yes.
want to tell you, Vicky, we're actually going to be having random drug tests starting tomorrow at work. So
Count on
I
me.
hope you're not stoned and high for that.
Count on me.
I think that I think that sometimes narcotics allow you to erase that openness. It clouds it. Like
I agree.
drinking alcohol, as much as people don't want to argue against it with pot and stuff like that, it always clouds your mind. And so perhaps
Definitely.
that's almost dulling the ability to do that. I can't tell you the states I was in when I had those dreams. I don't remember. I never really paid attention to it, but I think part of learning the ability to control it is to try to foster it and bring it on. And when I downloaded whatever that app was from that Ivy League school, my goal was to really learn how to harness it. I was very fascinated in it at the time because I wanted to be able to control it more and turn it on and turn it off. And again, there was a brief time where I was able to. It was happening every single night. I don't know that I was in control, but I was getting there. And so it's almost like you need to bring it on. You need to welcome it in. To Tim's point too is that the fact that I think you as a person are very spiritual, you're very open minded, and I think that that has allowed you to do these things, even though you're not asking for it that night. You as a person, your mind is very open to the idea, and because it's happened before, you're kind of in tune for it. I think that holds a lot of merit. It's easier for you, Vicky, to turn that on and turn that off, or maybe just turn it on. It's a lot easier than Tim, who's never experienced it and never has been in that state to this
Yeah,
point. Whereas I think he could probably get there, but he's going to have to work on it in a different way and figure out how to like honestly put yourself in a meditative state to take that in. So maybe, or maybe maybe it just doesn't happen for some people. There's all sorts of crazy stuff out there that some people experience and others don't. So who knows? I'm fascinated by it nevertheless. But
me too.
Yeah. See, I have enough trouble falling asleep as it is to start fucking around with my ability to sleep.
yep.
One of the reasons I've never tried it. Hence, I smoke pot so I can go to sleep.
Well, I feel you because that's why I used to smoke.
Well,
Like, I want to
Vicky,
turn it off. I want to turn my brain off. So I go and smoke, and then I'm going to sleep, and then
Oh
it's
yeah.
like smooth.
Exactly. If I don't, I'll be up till 3 a.m. every night.
I could be
Well,
crawling
Vicky, you
my.
were very concerned when I asked you to hop on here.
Yeah, I was. I am.
Now, go ahead. Hey, don't be. You were echoing concern that we weren't going to be able to hit even a 30-minute chat, and we've hit 46, almost 47 now. So kudos to you, and thank you for coming back on and bailing us out
Thanks
a little
for
bit
having
here.
me.
I've been telling you we should get you on more frequently, at least once a month.
Woo.
We've got plenty of topics. You're our archivist here, so you get to really see a lot of the stories and pick and choose some of the topics that we actually talk about. I'll often talk to Tim about what we're going to choose, and we just go and see what's done well on the Instagram, which are curated by you, and that's the topic we kick off with. So thank you 1,000 times, not just for jumping on today and before, but really for the background work that you do to kind of keep our channels out there and keep us prominent. So
Thank you. Thanks to you.
to
Next
anyone
week-
out there,
Next week, we're gonna have Vicky's neighbor's dog on.
Yeah.
So, stay tuned.
Yeah. The possessed dog.
just hang the microphone outside.
Like the Zoom.
Yeah, thankfully that dog decided to exercise a little bit of patience with us to allow us to finish here. But to anyone out there listening, show your support for all the hard work Vicky does. Visit us at conspiracyrealist.com, where you can find all of our social media channels. Like and subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and wherever your favorite podcasts are. Until next time, our drinks are kicked. Our drinks are kicked. There we go. That's how you know it's been a good one. It's another episode of Cocktails and Conspiracies. Raise your glass to mysteries, ladies and gentlemen. And we'll see you next time. Is your website still stuck in 2009 or worse, built by your cousin's friend who kind of knows WordPress?
No! God, please, no!
It's time for an upgrade. At sfx.com, we specialize in custom web design, SEO, and full-service IT solutions tailored for small businesses that are ready to scale. Whether you're just starting out or reinventing your brand, the team at sfx.com brings strategy, style, and serious tech skills to every project. Visit s-fx.com today, where small businesses get big solutions.
Visit s-fx.com.